Just means that if people are having grow with virus, they don't have to worry about buying extra vitamins, trying to feed their kid that if their kid is fussy. But, it's not just for people with allergies, it's for people who want to live more sustainably. Thing you could have, and lots of allergy parents will be like, yeah, I know that. I'm not going to say it, but there is a formula that you get on the NHS. There's two. One still contains cow's milk protein. That's better. That's more for like kids with intolerances. And then there's the other one. But with Iris, she was allergic to like dairy, soya, oats, wheat, eggs, nuts, peanuts, everything, like banana.
Everything, yeah.
But all the main ones that are in formula, like dairy, soya, and she couldn't have any of that.
Would you do me a massive favour and click follow or subscribe button? It helps the podcast out so much. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Making Sane podcast. How are you doing, Amy?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
No, it's exciting to have you on. Shall we talk about how we met? Because we met at the Allergy Free From show. Was it in Birmingham?
The one in Birmingham, yeah.
And I was doing a talk and you came over and yeah, it's great to obviously find out about your brand. And could you do like a little introduction to yourself and the listeners if they've not come across Grow With Iris before?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Amy and I'm the co-founder of Grow With Iris. I started Grow With Iris because my daughter has got lots and lots of allergies. So we're a free from growing up drink, which is also plant-based. And we are launching this autumn.
Amazing. And I feel like obviously we met for a coffee, didn't we? Was it, how long ago was it now?
It was cold, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was freezing.
Yeah.
And it was great to find out. And I remember you like showing me the samples and there was like, didn't this sell out when you was like sharing about it online?
Yeah, so it was part of our pilot batch, which we had in our sachets. We're actually going to be launching in 18 serve pouches. But we had the little sachets and put out a few ads. And then it's just kind of snowballed. The dairy-free mum shared us as well. So
is she massive then?
Yeah, and it was just so lovely for her to kind of engage with us and said, I'd really like to do a post. And then suddenly, as soon as she did that, my inbox was kind of flying. I spent the whole weekend packing out little boxes to send them out. Yeah.
No, it's amazing when you get that support from the community. If we go back to like the very start, I always find it quite interesting with the guests just to get to know more about yourself and kind of your upbringing and like where you're from. Were you the only sibling? Have you got brothers and sisters?
No, I've got two older sisters. So they're 9 and 11 years older than me. So I'm the youngest.
Yeah. How was that growing up with older sisters?
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I mean, really, I felt lucky, but I kind of felt like I needed to grow up and kind of catch up with them. So I was always kind of finding a way to kind of, I don't know, I guess level with them. So desperate to work, desperate to get my independence.
Yeah.
I got my first job when I was like 14.
What job was that?
Hairdressing.
Oh, really?
After school and on a Saturday, I was kind of washing the old ladies' hairs and sweeping the hair off the floor. And then went to McDonald's and, all the...
I know my dad had me out like doing like water mains, when there's leaks. And he was like dragging these barriers down the road at like such a young age.
Amazing. I was desperate, absolutely desperate to get a job. So yeah.
Kind of get your own pocket money and then,
I think I got £10 a week for like 3 shifts.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. That long ago.
I mean, are you quite similar to your sisters? Are you all very different, would you say?
We all look the same. Yeah. We all sound the same, but we're quite different.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you from then?
I'm from Hampshire.
Yeah.
A place called Fleet. And but my family all live kind of Brighton way now. They moved when I went to university when I was 18. So none of my family live where I currently live now. I kind of moved back.
Yeah. You still see family quite a lot then?
Try to.
Yeah.
Speak to my mum every day.
I was going to say, like, did they have quite an influence on you, like, with your independence when you was quite young then, like, growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my mum and dad really had a choice when it came to my independence. I was always going to do what I wanted to do. And they were just completely supportive. I was really creative. I was only really interested in art and sport and my friends. And they just kind of they just encouraged me. They were like, no, if that's what you're passionate about, go for it. And they've never, ever held me back.
What was it then like you really enjoyed? You mentioned like creative there. Was that something?
Yeah, so I've always been like super arty. So as a kid, I was always creating and making. Art was my favourite subject. And I did fine art, media and photography A-levels. And then I went on to do a TV degree because I wanted to work in some sort of art department, but ended up going I did media when my media studies teacher said you should go and do the Bournemouth University course, and I did, and then ended up working in arts.
How come you got into TV then over kind of fine arts or graphic design?
I just really got into filmmaking at college, and I'd never really thought about going to university. It was never really on my agenda. I just thought
Did your sisters go to uni as well?
No one in my family has actually.
Yeah. So you was the first one then?
Yeah, in my immediate family, yeah. I think my auntie did because she's a nurse.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then obviously you went to Bournemouth Uni. How was that? Was you there for like, did you do a placement year or?
No, we did a placement summer, but it was amazing. I loved it. And I'm still really good friends with all my uni, but they've all gone off to be really successful. One of my best friends, Alex, is a director.
Amazing.
Someone owns an editing house. So, yeah.
Incredible. Did you get a job then straight after kind of uni within the kind of TV industry?
Yeah, so I did work experience actually on Harry Potter, and I ended up staying for like a few months. I was only supposed to be there for a week. Obviously made a really good cup of tea, but they were amazing and they just kept giving me jobs to do.
How was that? That must have been incredible.
It was really cool.
It's such an engaged as well,
I mean, it was such a long time ago. And then I kind of gave that up for
So he's on the set, the designs and
like prop making, set decorating, helping the graphic designers, just help in publicity, just like doing all the kind of creative stuff. And then I left that job because I got offered a job on Footballers' Wives, and it was like higher paid because I was, and I kind of went for it, but kind of, I don't regret leaving Harry Potter, but I kind of think maybe I should have stayed.
Did you get to meet the actors?
Yeah.
That must have been so surreal. Like, because I haven't got into Harry Potter like this year, like never actually watched it until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I worked on The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a long time ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. Yeah.
So you got a job in Footballers' Wives, and then was you there for quite a while then?
I used to do like...
That used to be quite a big show, wasn't it?
Yeah,
back in the day,
it was amazing. It was so much fun. So I used to do that in the summer, and then I worked on Spooks for BBC in the winter, and I kind of did that back and forth, and then decided it wasn't really for me anymore. Went travelling around India, Sri Lanka, Australia. And
how old was you when you went like travelling? Was you quite young?
The first time I went travelling was around Greece when I was like 17.
Yeah.
And then I think for like 2 months with my friend on about £500. And then
I love Greece. Like, it's like
back in the day. And then I went to India when I was 25. And then when I was there, I was like, I'm going to be an art teacher. Came back and retrained, and I've been teaching art for 17 years.
Did you have that epiphany when you was like traveling?
Yeah, I remember it really clearly.
Is it epiphany?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a really vivid. I remember being in the sea and just suddenly thinking, I think I'm going to be an art teacher. That's what I'm going to do. And I came home and applied for my teacher training.
So if you never went traveling, do you think you would have never actually been an art teacher potentially?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, I always wanted to be in some sort of art department. I didn't know what it was. Like obviously I tried the TV thing. I thought, I'd like to help people. I like people. I like hanging out with people, talking to people, meeting new people. So teaching felt like a really kind of natural progression.
How was it working with like all the small kids?
I love it. Yeah, I know it's stressful.
Do you feel like, because I heard that like some people get put off if they're working with teachers, if they're working with kids, or like they actually don't want kids themselves, like if they're working with kids all the time.
Since I've had my kids, it's been harder because you're working with kids all day, and then you come home to the energy of your own kids, and it is quite draining, but also it's been an amazing experience. I literally had my last day of teaching last Friday, so I've left.
Was it quite emotional?
Yeah, I mean, I was ready, but I mean, I've been tapering down, so I've been working kind of half on Grow with Iris, half teaching to kind of pay my bills. As anyone who owns or has a startup knows how kind of, I'm not sure I've ever been so skint in my whole life, but that's cool. It's
worth it. It's like the whole journey, though.
Oh yeah, totally. And Sophie, my business partner, and I totally believe in what we're doing. And
how did you meet Sophie? Because she's a designer.
Yeah, I went to school with Sophie. We've known each other for 30 years.
And just like one day, you just like come up with the idea, like, let's do a business.
So
was that always at the end, or was it never really on the agenda?
No. So I had Iris, and she was diagnosed with her allergies, and then I was going back to my full-time teaching job when she was 5 months old, and it was really stressful because I was completely worried. I was worried about her, and I was still feeding her myself. But I thought, am I going to have a chance to pump at lunch? No, I had kids walking into my classroom. It's just impossible. So I was looking for an alternative, and Matt, my partner, searched the internet. We literally could not find anything that we were happy with that wasn't really medicalized or had loads of ingredients that we didn't understand. And it was so overwhelming. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do this myself. I mean, I think that was slightly naive of me, but I was like, no, I can do this. Why not?
Where do you even start? Like, because I have all like mad ideas all the time, but I'm just like, how do you go from like A to B? Like, what was your like first initial
I think
thought?
we're quite similar in the fact we have loads of ideas, because I've always kind of wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I've always had millions of
ideas. Even from a young age?
Making cards, trying to sell things, and then I was going to start a party business. I was going to do,
Have you done many businesses before we get to like Grow with Iris and like the work you've done that?
No.
Just like little small things here and there.
Yeah, no, it's always just kind of been in my head, and I've kind of, I mean, Companies House must hate me, so I've registered so many companies and company names over the years. And
What's your favourite one?
Grow with Iris. So I kind of came up with the idea, and I went to a product developer called Frog Hop, with this amazing woman called Mel Loads. Sadly, she passed away last year, but she's just the most incredible lady. She was a food scientist, has this business which helps startups develop their, new product development.
Oh, so you found that online?
Yeah, and it was based in Woking, and it was quite near me. So I went with Iris, strapped me in a baby carrier. Actually, was before
with a business plan or nothing, just like with an idea in your head.
Idea, and I knew what I was going to do. Like I knew what I wanted, and I knew that it needed to be, plant based, and it needed to be free from the allergens. And she really helped support me to try and find the best protein for it, and we decided to go with pea protein. And she kind of did like the initial formulations and guidance, and then moving on from that, I went to Sophie because she was my friend, and she'd always done all my kind of design work. And she was just so into it. She'd just left her big agency and corporate, like corporate, and she really wanted to work on a startup, and she was kind of looking for startups to work with. I didn't know that. Wow. And she was just kind of helping me. And I remember we had all my friends round, just kind of loads of people with little kids, to kind of test the water and say, would you be interested in this? Do you like the idea? What about this name? Like a mini focus group. I mean, we've done millions of other focus groups since.
Was there a lot in the focus group, or is it just like, was it initially quite small, just like with...
Oh, well, so we did, that was just friends, like 15. And then following that, we just had this conversation like, Soph, I don't suppose you want to be my business partner, do you? And she goes, that's so weird. I was going to say the same. I really want to be on board. I'm really into what you're doing. And she came on board. I think I was pregnant with my second. And then it was kind of lockdown, but we've worked together ever since. So she's just incredible. She's the cogs behind Grow with Iris. It's my idea and like my baby, but we work so well together. And we got the Sustainability and Innovation Award from Innovate UK, which was a really big grant. And
when was that? Was that right at the start?
That was I think it was end of 2020.
That's incredible. I was going to say, when you were saying you was doing like the research and that they came up with like the pea protein, the help startups.
I used my savings because I'd sold my flat. And
I was going to say, like, do they take a percentage or no? You pay them?
No, I paid them like a contract. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but I remember giving them the deposit and thinking, that's so much of my, I'm really scared, and then put the money down. But I kind of knew then, even as this really low.
So even though it's like it's quite a scary thing. Imagine you got all this money, like, oh God, like it might not work.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't loads of money at that point. And then getting the Innovate UK money allowed us to employ all the people that we needed to do all the R&D. So looked at life cycle analysis, looking at the ingredients.
How do you go about like finding these people? Is that just through
we just
contacts?
Networking and we just, I mean, there's so much risk and regulatory stuff to do. Honestly, it's been
stressful then.
And I mean, without Sophie, we would be nowhere. We are like a two-pronged, you know,
together.
We're a really good team. And so we had that, and then we won the Women in Innovation Award. So that was the second grant. So we've had a really big, nice chunk of money without having to raise investment. But we're into investment now. We're raising, and that's been quite stressful. Yeah. Yeah,
it's amazing though, because I hear a lot about like the grants. I had Cozy Care, Lauren Bell from Cozy Care, and like she was saying like without the grants like she got, like she would have never been able to kind of.
We wouldn't. We don't come from money. We don't have like.
So is that probably the best way to do it then? If you have got an idea, then try and just get as many grants or.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're doing. I mean, what we've been doing is kind of innovative. So you have to prove your innovation. And, you know, it's quite, I guess a lot of people would think innovation would be tech, but there's a lot in, you know, new food development and new ways of thinking and new ways of eating. You know, we all kind of having to reconsider how we feed ourselves and our children with like climate change in mind. So, you know, there's a lot of money kind of flying around in terms of Innovate UK to support, you know, things like that.
How was the market then? Obviously, when you had the initial idea, like you said, there just wasn't anything really.
No,
it wasn't milk free or dairy free or.
Yeah, so the only thing you could have, and lots of allergy parents will be like, yeah, I know that. I'm not going to say it, but there is a formula that you get on the NHS. There's two. One still contains cow's milk protein. That's better. That's more for like kids with intolerances.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one. But with Iris, she was allergic to like dairy, soya, oats, wheat, eggs, nuts, peanuts, everything, banana. But all the main ones that are in formula, like dairy, soya, and she couldn't have any of that. So we ended up, like Matt found something from America. We imported something from Australia. We ended up importing something from France, which we now know probably wasn't particularly legal.
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't,
with the testing and.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether we really should have bought it. But, you know, it's all
a learning curve as well. I mean, if you're desperate and like you
we
say,
were desperate.
Like, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Absolutely desperate. And I just looked at the back of the tin of the one that you get from the doctors, and I was like, I don't want to be feeding my baby. I've been breastfeeding her.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I just thought, I don't want to then give her loads of corn syrup and all these, like this massive long list of stuff. And it freaked me out.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was really tough. It was really tough. I ended up breastfeeding both of my kids for a really long time just because there was no other option. It's tough, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously with your product now and Grow with Iris, like it's testing massive in terms of like the make and saying, and because I've had quite a few different brands, and I think people say, oh, why is it expensive? It's like, well, the cost and the manufacturing, making sure you've got certificates. It's quite funny. I went to a Free Fun Festival and a guy, I don't want to say what brand it is because I don't want to like slander it or anything, but he had like a nut-free bar, but then he had a may contain disclaimer next to it, but the disclaimer wasn't on the product. So he's selling chocolate and he's got his stand and he's no may contain on the actual chocolate, but then he's got a disclaimer like on an A4 piece of paper next to the product. And I was just like, is it nut-free? And he's like, well, yeah, like the manufacturers like should be nut-free, but they don't have the certificate. And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to eat it. I made the mistake of buying it and then just didn't eat it. But I just thought that was mental. Like, just have may contain on the packaging. Why have the disclaimer next to the product.
Maybe it was an afterthought. Maybe he's panicked because he was at a fair that, you know, maybe I just need to check that I'm, I mean, it's...
But I don't think if you're 100% confident. Then,
oh, no, you have to be.
You have to be, yeah.
And I remember at the beginning that being the thing that I was most stressed about. I was like, this is really big and I really need to make sure that it's safe, because how would anybody ever trust it? So a lot of our product development has gone on testing, and we spend so much on allergen testing. It's swabbed every kind of almost like every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, is like swabbed, and we have this big matrix of allergy testing. And we were so lucky finding the manufacturer that we found is so supportive. Nobody really wanted to take us because obviously being a free
quite a few.
Oh God, so many.
Yeah.
It took us like 4 months to find a manufacturer. Just, you know, ringing people, having
Is it
Zooms.
manufactured in the UK, I imagine?
Yeah, Somerset. And they've just, you know, also being a startup, being pre-revenue, but they've really taken a punt on us. And actually the MD has invested in us personally.
Oh, wow.
Which was such a big compliment. And to know that
they
he's got our
believe in
back.
it, yeah.
They really believe in us. And
I was going to say with the investment, how does that work? Like, when someone invests, do they each get a percentage or not? I mean, how does it work? Yeah.
It's like going back to school. We've had to learn so much. So we use something called Seed Legals to help us all the legal stuff, which is really great. So if anyone else has a startup and they're going through the legal stuff, definitely sign up with them, because it means you're not paying hundreds of pounds for like one letter or whatever.
Like ridiculous.
They're so good. So it's kind of an upfront cost, but it's well worth it.
Yeah.
So with investment, you know, you have something called like an angel investor. So it's not a venture capitalist. It's just an individual who wants to who believes in what you're doing.
Okay.
There is a scheme from the government, the SEIS scheme. So people can get up to 50% off their investment. So it's up to 200, I think personally 200 grand. But say, for example, you decided to invest 50 grand in Grow with Iris, you would get like almost half of that back as tax relief. Oh, wow. So it's really good. It's kind of encouraging small businesses to grow. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that has been quite stressful, would you say? Like
it has. We just had a really...
How many investors do you need? Or do you just need one big one?
It just depends how much you're trying to raise. Yeah. Well, we've got a few, but we did get a really big offer. But they did want too much of our company, and we just felt like it was really hard for Sophie and I to kind of
say no.
Have to, it was a big carrot, and you know, we could have literally said yes, but it's like a marriage, and you know, it has to.
If you're not right as well, if you get in bed with the wrong person, then you're stuck with them.
Yeah,
right? It's just a bit
totally.
Because I had Julianne on the podcast, and I think she spoke about this, like about finding the right people, and you want to make sure it's the right move, really.
Yeah, I mean, they were great, and you know, it was a good fit in lots of ways, but they wanted too much of our business for, in the grand scheme of things, you know, not that much money. I mean, it is a lot of money, but it's not
when you think about it in the long.
Yeah, and you know, we're two female founders. We need to protect ourselves. We also need to make sure, you know, that we have the autonomy going forward. That, you know, our decisions are going to be ours. You know, we've worked so hard.
Yeah, and
we don't. You know, it's really easy to kind of get distracted by the money because we just want to launch. You know, we're so desperate to launch.
So now it's definitely launching in the autumn.
Yeah, definitely in the autumn. But we do
in the supermarket. We do need website
D2C. So from our website. Yeah. So that's being a really like snazzy, really, really good and reliable website is being created by. Actually, a local friend has a company called Brandtastic. So we're using his, he's building it for us. Yeah, yeah.
So you need to make sure that like it's bulletproof and...
Yeah, but because
would you use something like Shopify or it's not quite right? Yeah.
No, it just, for what we want to do, we need it to be super robust and it needed to be built
bespoke.
And Sophie being a designer, that's her thing, and it needs to be, you know, perfect, and it needs to work. What we don't want to do is for it to crash if that's the only place right now. But we're hoping to then move obviously onto Amazon in independent stores. Would love to. Would that be like early next year, or are you reaching out to like supermarkets now, and how's that been? Like? You know, it's tricky when you're pre-revenue. It's always, I mean, it's one of our kind of catchphrases. Everything with what we do is like chicken and egg, you know. It is so hard, but we're going to start D2C. It just means that we can sell it at the price that we need to with a smaller batch, and it means that we're, you know, people aren't paying more than they need to be paying, because we want to make it affordable, because it is for parents and children, and giving them that choice, and we don't want to kind of exclude anyone, especially at the moment cost of living crisis.
How's it been like in the community? Is everyone, like, it's been super like positive when you kind of
so lovely. We're so lucky. I mean, even when I first met you, it was, you were just so warm and lovely and supportive, and everyone I've met. I mean, I've made some really great friends already. You know, you have, you know, your friends on the internet, but then you meet them in real life, and then they've,
it's amazing, isn't it? It's cool. I love it. Like, obviously, like when I speak to people online and then actually like meet them at an event, and I've got really close to like Julianne over the last like 2 years, and even just like having her on the podcast, like I've had her on the podcast twice now, but you just really get to know someone.
And it's lovely.
When we're at the events and stuff, she was at the Freeform Hero Awards, the Freeform Award show. I'm saying that, like, she was there, so we was like together with her, and it's amazing when you
I mean, there's so many, you know, people within our community doing incredible stuff, you know. From like the allergy team, like Sarah and the allergy team, like Michelle with allergy pen pals, you know, all these different levels of stuff, like finding where are the gaps in our community that need to be supported, and we're all doing kind of different things, but we all have each other's backs.
It's amazing.
I mean, what Julianne's just done with that campaign about having nuts on flights.
It's amazing, isn't it? I saw that. Is it like 2 days ago? Like,
so amazing. And, you know, we're taking Iris away this summer, and, you know, it's always worry. I mean, I actually ordered these kind of peanut wipes from America. My friend got them for me, and then she then moved to America and forgot to give them to me. And it's really expensive to get them over. But there's always all these things that you need, kind of gets rid of the protein of the nuts on the aeroplane. And
amazing. I just use normal ones, but I don't know if they're good enough. But I always, like, when I get in a fight, everyone asks me what wipes, I'm just like, just when I get to the airport, I just use like the little antibac wipes. But it's only because I had an allergic reaction on a flight back from Croatia, where I fell asleep, you know, on the little table on the plane, and like hives all over my arm, and I was like, it properly like freaked me out. Luckily, like the plane was landing in half an hour, but
I mean, it's awful. I mean, I had a panic attack, a full-on panic attack on an aeroplane, because we had done the announcement. It was a long-haul flight. We were coming back. I took Iris to go to the toilet, and there were crushed peanut M&Ms all over the floor, like in the toilet. You know, it's just not cool. And the cabin
I'm scared
crew,
of like breathing it in, and like, but I hear like it's so like contradictory. Like I think the main thing I hear is like it's actually the air circulation on a plane is so good. The chances of having an allergic reaction due to the airborne are actually really slim. So that makes me feel a bit more peace of mind. I wear a mask now anyway, but
it's more the touching things.
It's more like that's the dangerous thing, because most of these allergic reactions are not due to airborne and plane. It's actually due to the kid touching the surface and touching
Iris
the mouth.
Was too when that's that peanut M&M scenario, and she, you know, I'd taken her to the toilet, but what if she, you know, kids pick stuff off the floor all the
shoe,
time,
and
she saw that it was on your shoe, and then you got it on your hands, and you just, it's it's really stressful. Really, really, really stressful. Yeah.
So what's next for Go With Iris? Obviously you're launching in the autumn. Have you got quite big plans of where you kind of want to take it over the next like couple of years? Yeah,
we've got lots of stuff up our sleeves. We've had such an amazing kind of reaction to the sachets. Again, they're food safe. They don't need to be opened if you're going to give them to caregivers, to like nurseries, preschools, grandparents, etc. Also might have some stuff like flavours up our sleeves as well. Yeah, loads of stuff.
It's amazing when you're saying when we went for a coffee that you're saying like, as she gets older, the brand is going to grow up with her as well. So it'd be interesting to kind of see where like the different, like whether it goes into food or like, yeah, it'd be super, super exciting. Like,
yeah. And again, you know, it's looking out for those kind of, what do we need, you know, as a family, what's missing. And, you know, I mean, there's so much on our plates right now. Excuse the pun, but you know,
what was the hours like starting a business? Was it just like, was it quite long hours and full on just to get it off the ground?
Yeah,
or was it during lockdown as well, kind of thing?
I mean, both of us were working other jobs, and obviously I have my 2 kids. So my kids are like 6 and just turned 4, and I've been working on it since 2018.
So Iris has got allergies, but just...
Yeah, Iris has, Winston doesn't.
Winston doesn't have any allergies at all,
No.
It's mad that, isn't it? Like,
he's had all the tests because he had this kind of chronic cough, and we really thought that there was something like a kind of dust allergy or mold allergy or something, but it's all fine.
Because you always think if one had it, like, you're on edge.
100%.
Saying that, my sister doesn't have any allergies.
No.
It's just me. I'm like,
Right.
at the shit end of the day. I mean, sorry. I'm joking, but
I think we all take it on as a family, you know. It's
I think as well, I'm in a weird way, like, I think having an allergy, like, it's gave me a platform and it's opened up so many doors. So in many aspects, like, like having an allergy, like, can get in the way at times, but like in other aspects of life, it's been amazing, really. Like, I probably wouldn't have had a podcast if I didn't have an allergy, like. So,
well, I definitely wouldn't have grow with Iris if it wasn't for Iris. You know, it's just part of the big plan, I guess. You don't have control over like the cards that you're dealt, and you know, it's what you do with them.
I was going to say, with obviously like women in business, was there anyone like you kind of really looked up to at the time in regards to other entrepreneurs which have done it?
There's so many. I mean, we have been supported by loads of female entrepreneurs. So Lucinda, who founded Genius Foods, has been just so kind to us. She talks to us a lot if we've got a little question or we're worried. Also, Sarah from Healthy Nibbles, I think you've interviewed before. She does. She mentors us as well.
Kind of like the kits, like not kits, like but the sweets.
Yeah, but she has the healthy vending machines.
Yeah,
and she's incredible. And we met her through Innovate UK. But it's just everyone along the line, to be honest.
It's amazing where the ideas come from as well, because her idea was that I think her dad was in hospital. Yeah. And that's where the idea come around, like the vending machines. Yeah, so it's mad. Right? I
mean, I also love people like Mary Portas. I love the kind of kindness economy and being a woman in business, and also Holly Tucker. And I like the way that they're themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be in business and turn up in a power suit. You can wear a leopard print jumpsuit and like massive hoop earrings, be who you want. Like, I just don't believe in kind of having to change and suddenly be this like power woman, because I'm not like that.
It's mad because I've got a friend, and his wife is like really high up in this like magazine, like a fashion magazine, like I think she's like one of like chief editors or in charge of it. And she was saying to me like sometimes like she's got to like change the way her hair and like I don't know, I have her hair back and the way she dresses because of her position, which is crazy, really.
Yeah, it's really
you
sad.
shouldn't have to,
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, if you look at Holly Tucker, she always wears like really bright, cool, colourful clothes. And, you know, Mary Portas, I love her. I've read her books and I just think she should be the Prime Minister.
But vote her in, like.
Yeah, I think she should be.
Yeah. Have you had any like hurdles then in regards to women and obviously kind of set up a business?
We've had so many hurdles. I mean, so many times, Sophie and I, like, why are we not just launching a blanket or something really easy, something that doesn't need loads of like legal stuff, labeling. We had to be so careful about how we brand it, what we call it. It's like every hurdle. We also paid for a pilot batch because we were trying to get DHA into it, like a vegan DHA,
What's that?
which it's like a kind of almost like an omega oil.
Oh, okay.
So it was a plant-based one from algae, and we'd done all the bench testing, we'd done all the mixing, we'd signed it off, and we used it's not cheap to sign off a pilot batch anyway. They did the first blend and they sent us the samples, and I literally could smell it. I'm like a sniffer dog. Sophie always laughs at me. Right. I was like, oh, it smelled of fish. It hasn't got fish in it. It was algae. And it honestly, it was disgusting. I was like, we can't.
Yeah,
and
you can't send that out.
It was kind of phone calls galore to our like risk and regulatory lady. It was just so stressful. And again, our manufacturer they were so kind and generous, and they understood that we were a startup, and, they've helped us with like some of the costs, and, I'm sure we still owe them some money for it, to be honest. But we had to make really tough calls. I really wanted to have DHA in it. I really wanted to have probiotics, but it needs to be affordable, and it needs to not smell of fish. I mean, it's definitely a low.
I can imagine nearly having like a breakdown, like smelling fish. But, oh my God, it doesn't even have fish in it. Like, why does it smell it? Because people are going to clock on straight away. They're going to open it.
Oh, it's horrendous. I could literally smell it through the envelope, and it was in a plastic bag and in another plastic bag, and I could still smell it. But when we mixed it up, it was fine, and I would have tasted it. I've got such a strong, I should be like a taste tester of the things, and we can smell and taste like a really good palate.
I like that with nuts. Like, I like, as soon as like you taste it, you just know like, oh shit, like I fucked up.
I can smell nuts from across a room. Yeah. I'm like kind of on high alert, and you probably are as well.
I'm like that when I get on a train, like, or like if someone's eating nuts, like I just know straight away. Yeah. I'm literally like going down the carriage, like who's eating it.
I'm like that at soft play.
It happens every time, though. Every time I'm on a train, like someone brings on nuts, like, and they're always sat near me as well, like 9 times out of 10. But I always say something, and everyone's like cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got a nut allergy. Okay. So.
Oh no. Well, you want to hope so. Yeah, I've had to do it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. People almost like, oh, I'm so sorry, but
Yeah. How's it been like being a parent with Iris when obviously she's got like quite a few different allergies? Was that quite stressful, like in terms of like obviously finding out what it is and getting the tests and everything?
I mean, most allergy parents will probably understand. I mean, as well. Yeah. It comes.
It's interesting because when I got diagnosed, like I just feel like there's like so much lack of awareness. There's probably a lot less stress from my mum. Yeah. But I feel like parents now, like it's just like you hear about it in the news, and I always bang on about it. But like it's great that it's in the news because it's like people are much more aware now of kind of severities of allergies, but by doing that, like it just installs fear as well. Like.
I think also like nuts are more like trendy, aren't they, to be having in things as whole foods, clean eating, paleo, like all that stuff as well, and it's kind of more prevalent. But when it comes to dealing with the anxiety, I mean, I've really suffered. I mean, I had a bit of a breakdown when I went back to work when I was 6 months old, and it's like my biggest life regret. I just wish I hadn't done it because it was just awful. My school was so amazing, and
you wish you hadn't
gone back to work so early.
Oh, really?
But I kind of had to. Yeah, I've had a lot of counselling, and
has that helped a lot?
Yeah, it has because
So it's 50-50 because I've had like therapy. I felt like it didn't help. I do want it again. Like I was thinking when I move out of this flat, like maybe just like it's not even the money thing. Like it's like I don't know. Like I just
finding the right person.
Yeah, because I've had a few and I had a trial one with one woman, but then I was like, no, I just wasn't really feeling it. To be fair,
it's definitely finding the right person. Also getting to the point where you trust them, and also as a mum who was also working as a teacher and running a business and trying to deal with all the school admin and all that, like there was always an excuse for me, especially having it online, to kind of cancel. But my most recent counsellor was amazing. She just was kept on at me. And in the end, we really got there. And I'd had one before because I didn't want to leave the kids.
So what is it? Is it like a breakthrough? Is it like, say if you've got like a concern, like they're trying to get to the bottom of why you feel a certain way?
Well, I was too scared. So it was my 40th a couple of years ago, and my partner, I've always wanted to go to Iceland, and Matt, my partner, he said, that's your present for your 40th. It took like 3 years for me to go. I was like, I just can't leave Iris. I can't do it. What if something happens? It's really hard because, I trust grandparents, etc., but it's just such a long way away. And I've had an incident when I've been at school and had the call to say she's gone into anaphylaxis, she's in an ambulance. Don't panic, but I'm like, huh. So I literally wailing coming out of the school. My friend Zoe, bless her, she was a TA at the time, and she came in the car and she said, do you want me to drive? I'm like, no, I need to drive because I need to be in control of the situation. And we don't even know what it was. She was with my mum-in-law, and she was putting her down to sleep, and she's always really chatty and she just wasn't talking. And she was like, her hives were coming up. She gave her antihistamine, and then she was like, she couldn't talk. She was going pale and floppy, and she was like, shit, I need to administer EpiPen. She actually injected her thumb. Luckily, we had 2.
Oh my God, yeah.
So they both ended up in, we kind of joke about it now, but it's just so hard. I've got to say, though, her preschool and her school have been just amazing. And we went for
really supportive.
We just made sure that we chose places where they cook on site and they don't kind of bring exterior things. So the chef at school, like at preschool, they knew her. And then there's a lovely lady where Iris goes now called Ali, who she's just gorgeous. And she might text me and say, I've made these biscuits. These are the ingredients. And,
that's
it's
nice,
really sweet. It's a little kind of village school and the community. And there's another lady, Anna Louise from Chuckle Soaps. I don't know if you know her,
no,
but
I don't think so, yeah,
she's incredible, an incredible entrepreneur. But her son has got lots and lots of allergies, like loads. Like they go, but I think she felt the same. They really supported us, and
it's just scary as well because obviously, like, you don't know why she went into anaphylaxis. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
That's the more scariest thing.
I made her
like,
a packed lunch.
Yeah.
I made her a packed lunch to take to it. We don't know whether it was something from the garden. No idea.
So scary.
She wasn't helping herself to food. My mum-in-law knew. But luckily, my mum-in-law knew what to do.
And you hear about people like administering your phone, but you don't think
she would just panic.
Yeah, like it's stressful, isn't it? Like, because I know the American ones, like it's got a voice to it, which is amazing. So it stops people from like administering it wrong, but it is so easily done. Like, because I've heard about it happened on a school trip once on a coach, where they administered it in the thumb. So
did they have another one?
Yeah, they had another one at the time, but like it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really scary. Well, funny enough, he'll hate me for saying this, but I said to Matt the other day, can you show me how to use the EpiPen with it being like the teacher?
Yeah.
Just show me how to use it with the trainer pen. And he did it the wrong way. Because you kind of, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's easily done.
When you're stressed in the moment as well, like.
He was obviously had my eyes on him. So
the pressure. Like, he's staring at him. Like, it's so easily done. Is there anything we'd want to like touch upon or go into like more detail? Or?
No, I think, I just really hope that what we've created and what we're doing is going to help other families, that it provides the choice that people need, because there is no choice. It's so limited. And the fact that, we've kind of tailored it, we've worked with dietitians, pediatricians to ensure that all like the vitamins and minerals and the nutrition is in there. So parents don't have to worry about it. When you have a child who is...
You don't want parents to go through what you went through as well, you know what I mean? Like the stress when you kind of went through it and like trying to get stuff shipped in from France or America, like there must be a much easier way. And like you said, you found that kind of solution in hopes that obviously it's going to help parents with kids with allergies. Like.
I really hope so. And, you know, when there's so much elimination in diets, you know, you have to really worry about, you know, nutritional like deficiency in certain vitamins, especially if you're plant-based. You know, you need to worry about
must have really opened
B12.
up your eyes as well, like to all these like vitamins and what's good and what's bad kind of thing. Like,
I've always really been into nutrition. It's been something that I've been interested in, and I feel like I was quite lucky when I've not been able to have dairy since like 2007, so I've not had like milk in my tea for a really long time, or, you know, I've not been able to have stuff like that. So
like dairy in terms of just like
intolerance, yeah.
I know I don't drink like full fat milk or even some just all oat milk now. Like.
So I was kind of lucky in that respect that I had that information, but I have learnt so much. But, you know, it just means that if people are having rotavirus, they don't have to worry about buying extra vitamins, you know, trying to feed their kid that if their kid is fussy. But, you know, it's not just for people with allergies, it's for people who want to live more sustainably as well.
Yeah, so it hits kind of like two audiences or two markets in that way.
Yeah, it does, because we come in a recyclable pouch.
Yeah.
You know, you're not, I mean, it's great for holidays. When I once took 18 plant-based milks in my suitcase on holiday. I packed 18
cartons?
Yeah.
That would have like weighed like half your suitcase.
Yeah, I know, it did. I wish I'd taken a photo. Yeah. But, you know, you can just pack a pouch and there's your like 2 weeks. We're going away in the summer. I'm just going to just take that.
Yeah.
And when we went camping, I took some of our little sachets.
Yeah.
They were fab, like really, really good.
What ages is it to the sachets?
It's from 12 months plus. I mean, you can still have it. You can have it as an adult if you really want to.
Get your gains.
It's aimed at like 1 to 4, but Iris is 6 and she still has a milk twice a day. And, you know, you can chuck it in smoothies, nutritional boost, get your protein.
Well, that's what I mean. I have my protein, so I have like 2 of them a day, like the vegan one and stuff. And but you find a lot of them has that may contain on them. It's just a fucking nightmare trying to get protein powder. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been great to have you on the podcast, and it's been really interesting to kind of hear about Grow with Iris and how you got started from obviously a younger age and being an entrepreneur or wanting to set something on your own. So yeah, it's been great to have you on the podcast, Amy.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure and a privilege. So
have you found your first podcast?
Loved it. Love a chat.
I know, it's great. Like, it's been super chatty. So yeah, if anyone wants to follow your social channels, would you like to share that?
Yeah,
on the
so
podcast?
we're on Instagram, we're just Grow with Iris. I think it's Grow _ oh my God, I don't know. Grow.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I can put it on screen if people forget.
Yeah, we put it on screen, but we're on Instagram, Facebook, and our website is www.growwithiris.co. Okay.
And then it's going to be out in the autumn, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
So like September, October time, or
autumn.
Yeah, we'll see how we get on. Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, Amy, and thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.